be speaking on long-term care. What is your plan? Long-term care is not a topic that we typically like to talk about at barbecues or other functions. However, it's a conversation that we should have before it does become a crisis. Most people are living 20 to 25 years or more in retirement, and there's a 7 in 10 chance that we will need some form of long-term care during our lifetime. We all need to have these conversations before we need our plan. A little bit of background information on Don for those of you who don't know him. First of all, he is a super champion for Learn, and please reach out to him if you're considering membership. Aside from that, Don is a PMP, he's a licensed insurance agent and registered rep with New York Life. He is AARP trained and has a CLTC certification in long-term care planning strategies. This is Don's sixth year helping people learn about long-term care. His 30+ years of experience as a project manager aligns very well with the planning side of long-term care.
Thank you for that glowing introduction. Appreciate that. Okay, so what I want you to walk away with, if you walk away with nothing else, because long-term care is not a topic you can really cover in 15 minutes, but I want you to take this thought: what is your plan? And most people don't have one, so you're in the majority, but you need to have one because of the, people talk about, what could happen. So we all have car insurance, right? So there's a 1 in 250 chance we're going to get in a car accident. Everyone lives somewhere. You either have a renter or homeowner. There's a 1 in 1,200 chance your house is going to burn down. Those are, not great odds, but they're way better than long-term care. 7 out of 10 are going to need long-term care. So we need to start thinking about that. It's not something that, we like to consider, but, that's life. So there's 3 questions that will help guide you. The first is, do you believe that you could at some point in your life need help with your ADLs? So ADLs are your activities of daily living. Those are all the things that Medicare does not cover. And I'll get into what those are here in a second. Do you agree that your family and friends, loved ones could be impacted emotionally, physically, financially if you need care? And do you agree that having a formal plan for providing care and how to pay for it is not an option, but a requirement? Because you can have the default plan, which is do nothing and hope for the best, or you can have one that's a little more purposeful. So you want to take control of your long-term care. It's not going to be long-term care starting flat on your back in a nursing home. It's going to be a slow, gradual progression in most cases. Most people are going to start at home and move on from there. So we want to maintain control. We want to know what our options are, and we want to be able to make choices that are our choices, not the government plan. So ADLs, you'll hear that term a lot in the long-term care space. They're all the things you did when you got up this morning. Maybe not necessarily in any particular order, but we went to the bathroom, we took a shower, we ate breakfast, we got out of bed, transferring, or got out of a chair, whatever that is. So ADLs, take note of that. Now we already covered that. So who would be in charge of your care if you need it? So who is your who person is what we like to say. And, most people say, well, my kids love me, they'll take care of me, and I don't doubt that. But the next question is have you had that conversation with them? Again, let's make the plan when it's non-emotional, non-crisis. So the impact on all those folks, we kind of briefly touched on. It takes caregivers time, it impacts their families, it impacts their finances. And here's some of the statistics on the time. And what is another example of what long-term care is? So those of us that have had children, when they were little and they weighed about 20 pounds, we were helping them with all their activities of daily living. Now, if you're both 75 and you both are 200 pounds, and you're trying to take care of each other with all your activities of daily living, that's a whole different proposition. So where would you prefer to receive care? There's basically 4 choices: at home, community. So if you're still working and taking care of a loved one, you might drop them off somewhere so they can be watched during the day, and then you pick them up. They call it adult daycare. I don't like the concept because I'm getting of a certain age, but that's what it is. And then at some point, maybe it makes more sense to move to assisted living, so you don't have to cut the grass and repair the roof and put in grab bars and all that stuff. And then eventually you might end up needing round-the-clock care in a nursing home situation. So overwhelmingly, guess what? Everybody wants to stay at home as long as possible. And all of the statistics bear that out, that you remain healthier and better state of mind if you can be where everything's familiar, all the stuff you care about's there, the people that you care about are nearby. So how much does long-term care cost? So I put together some statistics. There's national average is on the top line, but what's more concern to us probably is, well, what does it cost in Idaho, Don? So home care, you're looking at, somewhere around $30 to $35 an hour. And a lot of those places, there's a lot of members in our community. You can check it out with them. I would encourage you to do so. They say it's probably closer to 35 than 30, and they typically have a 2 to 4 hour minimum. So if it's 4 hours a day, it's probably half of this. If it's getting up to 8 hours a day, it's going to be this number and probably north of that. So figure between 30 and 60,000 a year. Then, so when does it make sense to move to assisted living? Well, depends how much help you need, but it also depends on the cost. So you can see at some point it might be cheaper to move to assisted living. And you can do a 2-bedroom assisted living where, you can still both be together and one of you is needing care and the other isn't. And it's not much more than that number. And then, of course, nursing home, that's round the clock, licensed medical providers, doctors, nurses, hospital beds. So Medicare is going to cover a little bit of that, or excuse me, Medicare, the medical part of it, but they're not going to cover any of those ADLs. So what is it? Typically, a long-term care event is, 2.8 years for men and 3.2 years for women. Although I'll put a caveat on that if you have Alzheimer's or dementia or something like that, you could live a lot longer. But you can see Boise is pretty well positioned compared to most places in the US. So we do have a website where you can look that up, any city, any state. For those, this is a whole nother topic, but I'll just briefly touch on it. If you are needing long-term care, so if you fall down, break your hip, had a heart attack, and you're admitted to a hospital, make sure they put you in a room with walls, not a curtain. Because a qualifier is you got to be admitted to a hospital for 3 consecutive days. Then you qualify for 20 days of 100% paid for long-term care. And then for day 21 to day 100, we, the patient, will pay between $180 and $200 a day. Medicare will pick up the rest as long as you're getting better. It's more of a rehab situation. It's not long-term care. As soon as you're not getting better, or they say, well, that's as good as you're going to get, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So they stop paying. Medicaid will definitely help you out once you qualify. So you have to spend down all of your assets. Your spouse can keep the home and a car and about $2,000 in income, but you give up choices, options, control. They put you in a bed, an available bed, within a 50-mile radius, and you're probably going to have a roommate. So again, lots more information on that topic, but that just gives you an idea of why you don't want to be on the Medicaid train if you can avoid it. So we just talked about those assets. So how are you going to pay for long-term care? Well, there's, if you're still working, you can be paying from your income. A lot of people have jobs that they can work remotely, but of course it's going to impact your lifestyle. That money's being reallocated to long-term care. Assets. Well, as you spend down those assets and you increase your income, well, there's going to be tax consequences. Maybe it pushes you into a larger tax bracket. And then there's savings, but you're paying dollar for dollar and you're not getting any leverage. There's other better solutions. But again, have that conversation, come up with what is your plan. Maybe it's a combination of all three things. I can't say what's right for you. You have to figure that out, but there's professionals that can help you do that, guide you. So other things to consider. These documents are very important. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an estate planner, but you need to have these documents. Power of attorney. So who's the person that's going to control your finances when you can't? Keep your bills paid when you can't. Health directive. Do you want them to pull the plug or do you want them to take heroic measures? One tip is if you do have a DNR and you're at home, keep it on your refrigerator because that's where the fire department will look for it or the paramedics. Otherwise, they're required to take heroic measures and bring you back to life. Even if you have a DNR, they don't know where it is. They have to assume that you don't. And then a will or a trust. You want Judge Judy deciding what happens to your assets, or do you want to have your own plan? So we've covered a ton of information in a short period of time. Hopefully I've spurred your interest in you sitting down and creating your own plan, the plan for you, but have a strategy because this will definitely give you more options, more control, and peace of mind. So my contact information is listed below if you want to discuss anything further. I'm all about education, and thanks for the opportunity and the time.